Bai Yuan told Lin that he wanted to talk about Ziyajing Academy. So far he was impressed with Lin's reaction time and his composure. Lin sat the two down, and as he poured tea, Principal Liu asked Bai Yuan to forgive Lin's actions earlier, and told him that Lin has been living alone since his sister went to Ziyajing Academy. This impressed Bai Yuan further. Not only was Lin about to enter Ziyajing Academy, his sister was already a student. Bai Yuan looked at Lin's skeleton warrior, shocked to see that they only had 250 points into each stats. But then how would he have been able to defeat the abyssal monster? Lin was shocked. It seemed like his theory was correct, and he was the only one who could see the talent-boosted stats of his skeleton warriors. Bai Yuan asked Lin if the skeleton stats had been boosted by his talent, and Lin informed the two that he awakened a talent that amplified all of his skills, shocking Principal Liu. However, this made sense to Bai Yuan, and he told Lin that he had two things to discuss with him. First was his reward from Ziyajing Academy, and second, he wanted him to take a test in 2 days. Lin asked him what kind of test he wanted him to take, and Bai Yuan explained that the test is for Ziyajing Academy, and only Ziyajing students can take part. But he couldn't give Lin more details about the test until he accepted to participate. Lin started thinking about the test. The decision of accepting was up to him, but there were too many unusual variables. Sensing that Lin might reject, Bai Yuan told him that the test would be a rare opportunity for him, and originally he wouldn't have been able to participate. Instantly Lin accepted, making Bai Yuan happy. He took out Lin's rewards, and as the top student in the nation, Lin's rewards were quite good. He received a card containing 100,000 points, which is equal in value to gold in Ziyajing Academy. The second reward was 2 scrolls, 1 primary and 1 intermediate skill scroll. The third reward was based on his performance against the abyssal monster. He was given permission to enter the Divine Summer Tower once. Bai Yuan advised Lin to prepare well before he entered. Lin understood, especially because Bai Yuan was the one telling him to prepare. Bai Yuan gave Lin some time to clean himself up before he took him to Ziyajing Academy. A while later, the three met in front of Lin's house, and Bai Yuan teleported Lin to the entrance of Ziyajing Academy. Bai Yuan explained to Lin that the gates of Ziyajing Academy also functioned as a weapon, and even top-tier hunters would be injured if they tried to enter with force. He asked Lin to follow him, and brought Lin to the residential area. There, a fellow student greeted Bai Yuan. The student wondered who Lin was, since the strongest hunter was bringing him to Ziyajing Academy, yet his tone was cold. The student asked Lin to choose a room he would like to stay in, and explained that they had various rooms: 4-person rooms which cost 500 points a month, 2-person rooms which cost 1,000 points a month, single rooms which cost 2,000 points a month, villa which cost 10,000 points a month, finally the practice villa, but the price remains unknown. The student tried to advise Lin to choose the 4-person room, or 2-person rooms to save his points. However, Lin went with the single rooms, shocking the student. He brought Lin to his room, and since he was satisfied, he asked him for his card to pay. The student was shocked to see how many points Lin had, and he asked him how he managed to get so many. Lin explained that he got it for becoming the #1 student in the nation. The student now realized why Lin could afford staying in a single-person room. However, he thought it was a bit unfair because in his entire time in Ziyajing Academy he only collected 10,000 points. But Lin was starting with 131,000 points. The student quickly left after advising Lin to get a communication device. After the student left, Lin observed some students who were training close by. Unlike his old school, the students of Ziyajing Academy were hard-working, and in that kind of atmosphere he is bound to level up quickly. To not fall behind, he started meditating. The next day his meditation came to an end when someone rang his doorbell. Lin opened the door, seeing a face he hadn't seen in a while. Ning grabbed Lin's hands, quickly pulling him along. She had made plans for the day, but first they should have breakfast. Inside Ziyajing cafeteria, after they had gotten their food, Lin took out his card to pay. However, Ning informed him that he could pay with coins. Lin told her that he didn't have points, and she says he should have asked because she had plenty, and didn't want him to waste points that are hard to earn. She looked at the receipt, happy that it was only 5 points, but something else caught her attention. Lin had over 130,000 points, and she questioned how he managed to get so many. A while later, while showing Lin around, she told him to avoid spending points as much as possible. Even if he had a lot, Lin told her that he would, and took out the Goblin King's core and gave it to her. She was captivated by the core, and she asked if it was the Goblin King's core. He told her that it was, and she went on a rant about how valuable the core is, and if he really planned on giving it to her for free. He told her that he didn't have a use for it, and she accepted without regret. She continued to show Lin around the campus of Ziyajing Academy, and afterwards she brought him to the Academic Affairs office to complete his enrollment. After finishing his enrollment, Lin looked up information about his sister, but nothing appeared. He asked Ning why he couldn't find his sister's information. She told him that his sister might be on a special confidential mission for the academy, or she might have joined a specialized section of Ziyajing Academy. She told him to stop worrying, since nothing bad should have happened to her, and asked him to follow her. She brought him to a classroom, telling the student Tao Dao that she brought the #1 student in the nation. Tao Dao introduced herself to Lin, telling him that she was level 23, and her class was Elf Knight. Lin did the same, and a student in the corner of the room expressed how disappointed he was that Lin was only level 17. He told Ning that she couldn't just bring random students. Ning confronted Ling Zhen, explaining that Lin was strong enough to become the top student in the nation. However, Zhen thought Lin's power wouldn't improve their hidden dragon team. He had seen the previous top student, but they were trash. He approached Lin, telling him not to act important just because Bai Yuan brought him to the academy. In their hidden dragon team, strength is all that mattered. He was willing to bring Lin along for the sake of the test, but he told him not to do anything stupid. His arrogance was worse than Zia's. Lin was starting to get irritated, and he asked Zhen why he sounded so jealous. This cut Zhen deep, and he started to chant a skill. Tao Dao activated a barrier protecting the other students from Zhen's energy. She asked Zhen to stop. He stopped in consideration for Tao Dao. And as he walked away, Tao Dao informed Lin that they would meet in the classroom the next day at 9 o'clock. She can only share more information about the test tomorrow, so she asked him to be understanding. Lin thanked her for giving him an opportunity, and Ning asked Lin to follow her so they could shop for the test. After Lin and Ning exited the room, Tao Dao told Zhen that she understood why he was acting this way. But Lin must be strong since Bai Yuan brought him to the academy, and they needed one more strong student for the test. Zhen told her that he wanted to see what kind of person replaced his brother as the top student. Tao Dao explained that Lin's achievements makes him qualified to be in their group, and his class is something they had never seen before. Zhen expressed that every year a new class appears, but most of them are trash, and Necromancer is probably the same. Outside the classroom, Ning told Lin that they needed to buy health potions, mana potions, and a communication device. A while later, after they had finished buying everything, Ning asked Lin to become friends with her on the communications device so she could talk to him all the time. And after Lin added her as a friend, she left so Lin could rest for the test tomorrow. Random question, but which waifu would you guys choose, Zia or Ning? Drop in the comments. To prepare for the test, Lin used the primary skill scroll and received the slow curse skill. The skill reduced the speed of his enemies, and after the talent amplification, the range increased to 50 meters, and the duration was also extended to 10 minutes. Lin's skills could now be categorized into 3 areas: summoning, DPS, and curse user. He hoped to learn another skill that would expand this category of skills even more. The next day, Ning called Lin on the communications device, asking him to come to the cafeteria for breakfast. A while later, all the members of the Hidden Dragon team had gathered inside the classroom. Tao Dao informed them that it could be dangerous after they teleported into the testing grounds, so they should stick together. Zhen took a shot at Lin, asking him not to slow them down. Lin remained unbothered. Ning, however, told Zhen that he would be the one to slow them down. Seeing the conflict in the group, Tao Dao expressed that the test was important, so whatever issues they had should stop after entering the testing grounds. She asked them to introduce themselves, and one by one the students gave their names and class. First was Mio Yu, a level 20 elf elder. Second, Duan Gao, a level 20 diviner. Third was Zhen, a level 20 warlock. Fourth was Tao Dao, a level 23 elf knight. Fifth was the Chad himself, Lin, a level 17 necromancer. Finally, last was Ning, a level 19 shadow assassin. After the introduction, Tao Dao activated the teleportation crystal for the Hidden Dragon team. They were teleported to the Divine Zia Tower. The map for the test was chosen, Mermaid Island. And again the students were teleported. In front of them was the mission stone that would give them the details of the test. All the members of the Hidden Dragon team placed their hands on the crystal and learnt that their objective is to defeat the final boss and obtain the Mermaid's tier. Only a team of 6 students with an average level of 20 could take the test. The Mermaid's test only dropped on the Nightmare difficulty, and there's only 3 tiers to collect. In other words, only the top 3 teams would get the reward. In the end, their goal is to clear the dungeon the fastest. Tao Dao wasn't expecting that they would have the mermaid map. She had participated in a lot of tests, so Ning asked her why she was worried. Tao Dao explained that the mermaid's tier can be used to craft a special item, but Mermaid Island isn't a part of the territory of the Divine Sea Empire, so students from other countries also come to Mermaid Island every year. There were a total of 10 teams taking the test in Ziyajing Academy, meaning they had to compete with fellow students and students from other countries. Ning asked her what they should do if they ran into a team from another country. Tao Dao told her that in all the tests before, the other teams just try to block the exits, but she shouldn't let her guard down because some students have died during the test. Seeing that Ning looked scared, Lin told her not to worry, because he would protect her if they encountered a dangerous situation. With the members of the Hidden Dragon team ready, Duan activated his support skill, buffing the stats of each member. It was a 30% stat increase and a 30% skill damage increase. but they were nothing compared to the boost his talent had. He got curious about how the buff skill would affect his skeleton warriors, so he summoned one from the summoning space and asked Duan to apply his buff skill on the skeleton warrior. The skill failed, and Lin concluded that it's likely his talent is overriding the buff skill. Zhen spoke, saying that if the skeleton warriors couldn't be buffed, then they would be as useless as their master. Lin and his skeleton warrior turned to Zhen, asking him if he wanted to fight. However, Cao Dao stepped in, saying they could fight after the test. Zhen was intimidated by Lin's skeleton. He doesn't know why, but every time the skeleton warrior looked at him, he froze. With the dispute settled, the hidden dragon team started heading towards the center of the Mermaid Island. Cao Dao explained that their target is the center of the island, and ordered them to avoid fighting monsters as much as possible. Suddenly, a merfolk jumped out of the lake that was close by and attacked. Thanks to Zhen and Ning, they were able to defeat the merfolk, but Zhen's fireball drew the attention of all the merfolk in the area. If they faced the monster head-on, it would take them 3 hours to reach the center of the island, which would be too slow. So Cao Dao put Maio in charge of controlling the monsters, so they could charge through. Maio lifted her staff in the air and activated the wind bind spell, gathering all of the monsters together and creating an opening for the others to charge through. 20 minutes later, the path to the center had been blocked by more merfolk, and they were starting to fall behind the other groups. Cao Dao asked Maio if her skill would be able to bind all of the monsters in front of them. Maio informed her that there were too many enemies to control, and the monsters were now level 22, meaning her skill won't work on them. Charging in directly could put them in danger, but it would take too long to go around the monsters. Lin stepped up, telling Cao Dao that he could handle it. Zhen laughed, asking Lin what a level 17 like him could do, explaining that it would be better if he continued to hide behind a woman. Cao Dao told Zhen to shut his mouth, and she asked Lin what his plan was. Lin explained that he would use his skeleton warrior to distract the merfolk. Cao Dao decided to trust Lin's plan. Lin ordered the skeleton warrior to charge in and distract the monster, giving the group the opportunity to sneak past the monsters. After they were safe, Lin recalled the skeleton warrior to the summoning space. Cao Dao praised him on a job well done. However, Zhen disagreed, explaining that they are safe because of the skeleton warrior, and Lin by himself is just trash. Lin faced Zhen and told him that he only had one last chance to disrespect him. Maio, who was keeping watch, called out to the group, telling them to run. The merfolk that Lin's skeleton was distracting had caught up. The students from the other country were also present. The other country's students had the spirit summoner profession. He activated one of his skills, blocking Lin's group path of escape. Maio was stunned, and she asked Cao Dao why a student would do this. Cao Dao explained that he wanted to stop other students from reaching the center of the island. The student hopped on one of his summons and told Lin's group to use the mission stone to teleport away if they didn't want to get hurt. The student rode off on his summon, leaving his group behind. Cao Dao turned to Lin, asking him if there's anything his skeleton warrior could do. Lin summoned 2 skeleton warriors, one to draw the merfolk away and the other to face off against the student's summon. With Lin's help, the other students were able to catch up to the other country's student, but they were intercepted by merfolk with bows and arrows. The group that was with Lin managed to protect themselves, however the other country's student was killed. After the first round, all of the teams in Ziyajing Academy gathered. The other groups were looking for a powerful mage. Hearing this, Zhen got an idea. He approached Cao Dao and told her he would join another team. He gave her a choice: either he leaves the group or they kick Lin out. He expected that Cao Dao would kick Lin out because the value of a mage had increased. However, Cao Dao decided to kick Zhen out of the group.
Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, then hit the like button.